Hello everybody, my name is Blaze and we're going to continue today with our action RPG right here in Game Maker Studio 2. Now, it's not a day off, I have a half day today, so I have time to work on this video. In any case, what we're going to do, or what we're going to focus on in this video is kind of the part 2 of the HP and attacks video that I did in the last one. What we're actually going to start off with is we're going to import sprites for our player. What we're going to implement today is actually the hurt state and the death state for the player, as well as the enemy. So first, let's import our player sprites first. Let's do that. I'm gonna cut this out of the video that you guys are watching back, so I'm pretty sure by now you guys should know how to import sprites. So I'm gonna give you guys time to pause the video and import your hurt sprites and your whatever the game over or player death sprites look like. So pause the video now and import your sprites. Okay, so now I've finished importing the sprites and I hope that you've imported all of your sprites as well. What we're going to do now is first I'm going to check if I'm still recording audio. Okay, and I have, which is good. Sorry about the croaky voice, I'm not feeling very well today, but anyway, we now have 6 new sprites. We have the hurt sprites here for up, down, and the side views. And we have the death animations here for also up, down, and side views. Now, next thing we're going to do is go into macros. And for macros, we're going to add 2 new macros, basically 2 new states. We're going to have, so we're going to add in macro and hurt. And we're going to assign it value 4. And again, macro, and of course, death. And we'll assign that 5. So that's all that we need for now. And if everything is done right, these should turn red. Okay, so now we have the hurt macro, or the hurt action, and the death action, which is nice. Well, it's not nice, but it's something to work with. Now, we also need to create scripts for those 2. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a new state hurt. Actually, we'll use capital for that, state hurt. And the only thing that we're going to do here is go action equals hurt, just for now. Okay, and then we're going to add a new script again, and this one will be state death, obviously. And again, for now, we'll just change the action to equal, oops, there it is, not debug mode, it should be death. Alright. Okay, so now that that's done, the next thing that we need to do is, I'm looking at my notes, so everything's going to move a little bit slowly today. But the next thing that we're going to do is go into move collide. Now I'm going to actually minimize this. We don't need that right now. Let's have a look at the script that we have here. Oh, it looks like I already typed it in, but what we need to do is, the first thing we need to do is create a new variable. So let me just delete that, and I'll end up retyping it anyway. So I'll use the keyword self. And we're going to store into this variable our object type. So basically, the object that calls this script will store its own object type. If you remember, with the object collision in the create event, our object types are either immoral, friendly, neutral, or enemy. So depending on what we hit, we're going to do something about it. That's basically what we're going to be adding to our move collide script today. Excuse me, my throat is really not doing so well today, so Pardon me. But let's keep going. Now at the end of this, we're going to go down a couple of lines. Actually, you know what? Let's add a few extra lines. So it's right at the top, so everybody can read it. Alright, so from here, from after we move on the y-axis, we need to use this. So with the, now, I have here in my notes with place meeting, but I have a feeling that we might need to use instance place instead. So let's try that. Instance place, and we're going to say x plus our local variable x, y plus our local variable y, and with the object that we're colliding with, which is all stored up here. So with all that information, let's scroll down, obj. So with whatever we collide with, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to first check if our object type, if their object type is not immortal, greater than 0. Now, why do I use greater than 0 in this case? Well, if you remember, I don't know, I've forgotten if I've explained this, but if you have an enum here, and you don't give a value to these, they default to numbers. So immortal is 0, friendly is 1, neutral is 2, and enemy is 3. Basically, that's what it's doing. So what we're going to do here is if the object type is not immortal, and the object type is not the same as our self, right? So remember, we're storing our own object type into this script. So if the other object is not immortal, so if it's not something like a wall or some object that you can't destroy, and if it's different to our own object type, then what we're going to do is we're going to change the state equals state hurt. Now remember, we don't want to call the script, we want to store it instead. So that's what it should look like at the end. So let's go back up to the top here. We need to store our own object type. So let me make a note here. Store our own object type. And then after all of this, after all of our regular collision checks, we're going to say when we collide, we're going to check if the object or if the other object is not immortal, and if it's not the same type. So basically, if it's not friendly, when it comes to the player, if it's not friendly, then it will do something. In this case, what it will do is it will change the state to state hurt, which should be pretty standard by now. And so if you guys have any questions, then of course, don't forget, you can always ask your questions in the comment section below. So I do really appreciate it. I am trying to answer questions as often as possible. I can't get to them immediately. Sometimes I can't get to them immediately, but I will do my best to help you. So if you guys do need help, you can tweet me or you can leave a comment in the comment section below. So don't forget, you can always ask questions. Okay, so let's save our project for a second. Let me check my recording and let me check my notes as well, because what we need to do next is we need to actually go here into object collision. We need to open up the object collision, the object player, because I think we have a HP check here. No, we don't have a HP check. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to do an HP check at the end of every step event. So what we're going to do, I'm pretty sure I had an HP check here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to delete. We're going to take this, we're going to delete it. We don't need it anymore. Because what we're going to do up here in the object collision parent, we're going to add a new event. We're going to add an end step event. Basically what the end step does is it happens right at the end of everything, at the end of our update. And so what we're going to do here, say if our health is less than or equal to 0, what we're going to do is we're going to go state equals death. No. State death. That's what we're supposed to do. Okay, so basically it's a pretty simple check. If our health, if our health is equal to or less than 0, then the object dies. That's basically it. Alright, now I'm debating as to whether or not I should put this into the object collision or into each individual game object. Because basically what we need to do now is, you know what, let's do it here. Okay, so for the, not in the step event, we're going to go into the player's animation end event. And so because we have 2 new states, we had 2 new states, and so we need to make 2 new cases. So in the case of hurt, and don't forget to close that off with a break statement. Don't want it to fall through. So at the end, the way that I've set this up, and I believe this works much better for beginners, at least for now, is we're going to go state equals, we're going to set it back to state idle. Let me put a space in there. But also, what we also need to do is we also need to say health minus minus. Now, if you've never seen this before, basically what minus minus does, or the opposite of that would be plus plus, basically it minuses it by 1. It takes away 1, or it adds on 1 depending on which one you're using. Obviously what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're taking away health when we get hurt. So obviously we want to take away 1 health. Alright, the next state, or the next case, will be, of course, with the death. With the death action, we need to, of course, close that off with a break statement. And what we're going to do here is, at the end of the animation, it's pretty self-explanatory instance, and we're going to use destroy. Instance destroy with no extra arguments. And that's all. So here we have in our animation end for the player, we're going to clean this up, and I'm going to probably end up putting this into the object collision, but for now we'll keep it with the player. So basically when we get hurt at the end of the animation, we'll take away health, and then after that we'll return to the state idle. And of course in the case of the death state, we're going to say instance equals destroy. Okay, so there is one thing that I forgot to do. And that was, of course, if here in the death state, this will only run once, or it should only run once. But basically what we need to do here, I'm kind of going back and forth my notes, so I'm kind of at the end of my notes, but I realize now that we still have a lot to do. Basically what we need to do now is we need to add in 6 new entries into our view 2D array. So here we go, view, let's start with horizontal, and of course we'll start with hurt. And of course, if you've already added your sprites in, you go here, we'll use view player side hurt. And again, we need to do the same thing for the death state or the death action. So we'll go horizontal, and of course, death, view, player, side, death. There we go. Again, here we need to do the same thing. This is going to get repetitive, I know, but I promise you, this is actually the end of our state. These are all the states that we'll need, at least for now. I don't picture there being any new states coming up after this. So view, player, up, hurt. Let's put that there. And then view, up, death. Oof. It's getting kind of warm where I am right now, and so I'm starting to sweat a little bit in my little cot, but never mind. Let's keep going. View, down, and hurt. So if you haven't gotten used to creating these entries, I think it's time you start getting used to these. I do want to finish this before the Patreon campaign starts, so that basically when it comes in, we can start with a fresh project. For that one, I'm actually planning well, I shouldn't say anything now, should I? That'll give things away. But I'm planning something that will be geared more towards people with zero programming experience. So if you're really not confident with the basics of programming, at least here in Game Maker Studio, we're going to start easy. Then this new series that I'm planning will be more geared towards you guys and to really build up your skills. So we've added the 2 extra states for each direction that we have. We have side hurt and side death. We have the up hurt and up death, down hurt and down death. Now, assuming that that is all correct, and I haven't made any mistakes, which I hope I haven't, let's close all that. Let's practice it. Let's try it. Let's run the game. Because I really don't know if I've done everything right or if I've missed anything. And that's really going to suck if I have missed something. So hopefully I haven't. Let's try it. Okay. So we can move my microphone. I don't know if my microphone's still working properly, but apparently it's dying. Okay, so there we go. We ran into... The enemies are still... we have to fix the enemy pathfinding, which we will do eventually. You can see that I get hurt, and then I die. Now, it comes up with this error here because basically what's happening is unable to find any instance for object index 1, which is the player. And this is actually happening in the parent enemy. So basically what's happening is where we are in the project now, the enemy is still trying to find the player. And because the player is essentially dead and gone, then it throws an error and says, I don't know where the player is. And so it throws an error and it completely shuts down. So in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to fix that bug. And we're going to make sure that even if the object player dies, that the enemies don't do anything. So we're going to work more on the enemies in the next couple of videos. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. Now, before I finish up with this video, there is one thing that we need to do, and that is here in the parent projectile. So basically here, we actually don't need to do anything. We actually need to delete some stuff. So here, up here at the top, we're checking to see if the other object type is greater than 0, and if the object type, the other object type is not the same as the creator. And if that's the case with the other, then we're going to have to get rid, we're going to then again check if it's not immortal. we actually don't need that line. You just comment it out. Because basically we've already checked to see if it's not immortal. So we don't really need this line. Let's play the game again. And this time I'll actually attack back. Let's see what happens in this video, in this section here. So let's scroll down. Ooh, I got hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no! 4, 5. I think I set the health a bit too high. No. But basically, ouch. I keep getting hurt. Okay, so basically what we actually need to do is with the other object type, if it's not the same as the creator, obviously we need to tell it to take health away, but we already made that check, so we don't really need to do anything else for that. Okay, what else in my notes here? Nope, apart from that, that's all that we need to do today. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to try and get these videos done as soon as I can. I can't promise anything, obviously, but I'll try to get them done as quickly as possible. And of course, keep an eye out for May the 1st and mid-April for the channel name change and also for the start of our Patreon campaign. So hopefully you guys will be around for that, and if you are, thank you so much in advance. Until the next video, guys, I hope you guys have a fun time writing up this project, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.